In this application, we had an error, and that's why I said that I'll come back to the video once again by rectifying it, and I have rectified it. Let me show you what was the mistake. Actually, we have written left equal equal right, which ended up calling the same operator again and again. So it ended up with the stack overflow exception. I have now changed it rather than using the equality operator, which actually I'm kind of overloading here. So instead of calling that recursively, I have just used left dot equals method, and you know what is this method already I have told you about, right? Every .NET class does inherit from object class. By virtue here, developer has inherited from employee, and that employee has also inherited from uh, object class, and as because of that we have got this equals method. So I can use this left dot equals and pass the other as an argument, and this equal method actually returns a boolean value true or false. And in the base class, what does it do? Simply is that it checks whether the left and right, both these references are same or not. So if they are not same, fine, go ahead, do your job. If they are same, we are going to return true. I have changed in both the cases, right? So now let's run this application once again, and from the top you are creating an Unreal developer object. Call goes to this, and you have already seen this anyway. It calls the base classes parameterized constructor, then goes ahead. The second object is also created in the same fashion by calling the constructor in sequence. Now Unreal developer is equal to Sunil developer. This equal equal sign immediately moves to your operator that has been overloaded here. So this you have passed here as a left reference, which is a reference to Anil employee, and the right, which is a Sunil employee. You have passed both of them. You are now checking whether the reference is same or not, because the equals method of the base class generally checks whether the reference variable holds the same reference or not. So it's not, they are different references. Now if it is so, then it's moving to the logic where I'm checking just employee ID is same or not. If it is same, then they are same. If they are not same, then you are going to return false. This is what it is doing. You might wonder why I didn't check other here. You could have checked each and every attribute here as an ampersand. You can put and operator over there and check each and every value over there. But the point is, I didn't think that was necessary. Sometimes in real time, what happens? Employee data and all those will be saved into a database, and using some kind of data access technology, we'll retrieve those data, and then we'll compare whether these data are same or not. In that case, since it was coming from the database, more or less each and every record will have a primary key value, and most probably we'll set employee ID as a primary key, correct? So that's what I'm picking up, only the primary key kind of thing, and checking whether that's same or not. If that's same, obviously I need not to check rest of them. With that logic, I just avoided writing the extra line of code, but you are welcome to write comparison or checking the equality of each and every attribute value. It's okay. So it returns false, it seems to me. So I get it false, and it doesn't get executed. So I can go ahead and add it into the developer array, isn't it? Let me also side by side run the other one too, not equal operator. Let's see whether it is returned not equal or not. So again, I execute the code in the same fashion. Let these objects be created first, and then we'll call this equality operator over there. So now, since these objects have been created, we are calling not equal operator, and goes the reference is not same, so return true. That means they are not same. Simple way, they are not same. I need not to check anything. Oh, it is showing some other way, so my logic is not 100% correct. It seems that I am supposed to return false, but I have returned true. So hope you don't mind this silly mistake, and go ahead, make changes in your code. So if these two are same, you are returning here, it is supposed to return boolean values. So I'm checking not equal. Are they not equal? So it is supposed to return true. Yes, with that sense, it's supposed to return true. And suppose that they are not equal, there also it's supposed to return true. Let me just try to execute it one more time here. So objects have been created, and just wait for a few seconds. Let the objects be created first. Okay, the next one is that you were calling this, and it's saying the left equals right. Yes, so return not true. Are the same? Yes, true. So again, I'm going inside again a silly mistake. So I should return once again. Didn't notice it that if they are same, maybe you can actually, I can see here it's kind of unnecessary to write this much of code. So why don't I write if left equal right in this way, then return true, else return false. Wait a second. If equals right, then they are the same objects. So I'm going to return false here and going to return here true. Now let me execute this code. So once again from the top, you are executing this, creating two instances one by one, and then you are checking whether left equal to right. So it is going over there, checking everything. It returns true here in that sense. So not equal, you are supposed to, it was working fine actually, you are supposed to write here, yes, they are not equal. So actually if you look at my code, the fact is I did write the proper code, but then I thought what is the meaning of it, so let me change it in this way. So left equal right, return false, that means they are equal, so it will return false. If they are not equal, it will return true, and accordingly you are supposed to write here not same, isn't it? By the way, whatever, my logic has a little bit of glitch, I hope you will pardon me for that, but the fact is this is the idea of operator overloading. You can overload those operators equal sign, which is supposed to check only the reference. Right now if I do not overload, what it will do, just look at this. I'm going to comment it, okay, and let me try to do it one more time. So I'm going to comment it, okay. Now go back to your code. Let me see what does it say. Are they equal? No, as because simply the equal operator practically is going to check whether the reference is the same or not, but I do not want only reference, I need more than that, and that is why I have overwritten them, right? I have overwritten those operators. I have provided my own implementation. Logical glitch was there that I accept, but you can rectify it, isn't it? Like I have rectified. So this is what is operator overloading. Remember always that this is another type of polymorphism where you are applying this equality sign on the two different instances of developer, isn't it? So right now you have got equal operator, not equal operator, both implemented here. But remember, it has to be a static because it is not call on the instance. It's not left dot equal. It's just that we use the equality operator on the left hand side. There is one instance, right hand side there is another instance. So this should return me true or false in this way, I'm thinking. But then again, it changes a bit if I try to do the same with addition. Suppose if you are talking about two numbers, right? Say for example I have a complex number, two different complex numbers, and you want to write a logic for complex number uh, addition and something like that. So in that case what should happen, you should overwrite the plus operator to add two instances and return a separate instance back, isn't it? Anyway, this is what is operator overloading. Remember, operator overloading, this overloaded method should be a static because they are not supposed to be applied on certain instances. Okay, they are simply to check two instances the same or not. So they are not called on instances, and that's why they should be static. And what is the return type? You decide. In my case, return type is Boolean, but it should also be followed by operator keyword, then the operator, and also if there is a pair of operator like if you try to say, for example, if you just try to write one more here, so you want to check whether one instance is greater than another instance or not. So I'm going to write here static boolean and then operator once again and then greater than, and to that developer left and developer right, as because on the operators left and right we are going to use two different instances which will be passed over there. So you write your code, you write here true or false, whatever you want to return based on your logic, isn't it? But then again, look at this. It shows an error that if you are writing for greater than, you should write it for less than also, isn't it? So they come in pair. So that is why you are supposed to write it for both of them. So go ahead, write it for both of them in this way. So developer left and right, etc., etc. This is how operator overloading is done, and this is one of the example of polymorphism too. So apart from function overloading, but then about polymorphism, let me have the final word here to understand that in case of overloading of operator, or it is about some functions, the compiler itself, the C# compiler, before it goes to the runtime, it can distinguish between two different functions or the operators, etc., etc., isn't it? So it can understand this operator being applied here in this case. On the left hand side there is a developer instance, on the right hand side there is a developer instance. So to give a meaning to the operator means you are going to provide a you are going to overload it, and you are going to say that this equality operator should not check the reference, it should do more than that. You are giving a new meaning. Similar to that, in case of function, you are giving a new meaning to each and every function, saying this is going to add 2, this is going to add 3 integers, this is going to add 3 integers, but data type are different, and the last one is different data types, number is same but their position is different. Whatever it is, at the compilation time, compiler binds this kind of function to the actual function call, to the actual function. So compiler itself can decide, but there will be certain situations where it will be hard for compiler to decide which function to call, and we are moving towards that, known as dynamic polymorphism. That will be in a separate video.